Live from the Ball State News Center, this is NewsLink Indiana in high definition.
Good evening and welcome to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Adam Chowdhury.
And I'm Kelsey Anderson. Thanks for joining us.
A possible government takeover of Muncie Community Schools is still in the works in the General Assembly.
NewsLink Indiana's Tony Sandlaben is in the newsroom on the latest development on a bill that has grasped Muncie's attention.
That's right, guys. Senate Bill 567, the bill that would allow for a government takeover of MCS, just passed the Indiana House of Representatives. The bill has been very popular, but first, a round of testimony came before the final vote. Primary objections to it included a not enough public input, not giving MCS or Gary a chance to improve on their own, and also not enough criteria for other districts to pay attention to. However, Republican Representative Jim Lucas gave a fairly simple reason for supporting the bill.
And one of two things happen here for these corporations. They either got in that much debt in 1 year, which is a horrible sign, state needs to come in and do something, or they got in that much debt over a period of time, which shows a consistency of making bad decisions, which means that the state needs to come in and do something.
And the bill passed 77-19. That does not mean that the bill is going into law, however. Because there was Muncie added to the bill, it's now a different version than what was passed in the Senate. Therefore, it will go to conference committee where they can make changes. That committee is made up of both House members and senators. Once it passes there, it will go to the governor's desk. The plan is to wrap all of this up by April 21st, when full adjournment of the 2017 Indiana General Assembly is set to take place. Live in the newsroom, Tony Sandlaben, NewsLink Indiana.
Thank you, Tony. One thing to note, Muncie Representative Sue Errington did not speak during the testimony period, despite previously speaking out against the bill. She did vote no on the measure.
And a bill giving local governments control over creating needle exchange programs is on its way to Governor Eric Holcomb's desk. Holcomb supports the bill that aims to reduce the spread of diseases by providing clean syringes. After the state's worst ever HIV outbreak in Scott County, Indiana was allowing needle exchanges, but only with state approval. The new bill will allow local governments more freedom to decide on needle exchange programs. And a bill to overhaul Indiana's current vaping regulations has cleared the Indiana House. The House approved the bill 91-4, and a 2016 law created a monopoly in the vaping industry. That law allowed one security firm to play gatekeeper over the industry. The new bill requires a tracking code and a nicotine warning on all product labels. It also includes regulations on flavoring, retail reports, and ingredient lists.
The Republican majority Senate has today paved the way for President Trump's Supreme Court nominee, Judge Neil Gorsuch, to have a confirmation vote tomorrow. Thursday saw the Senate vote 55-45 in favor of blocking Judge Gorsuch's nomination, which denied the 60 votes Republicans needed. Today, Republicans eliminated the 60-vote threshold, which has allowed them to hold the confirmation vote on Friday. U.S. Senator John McCain said that Gorsuch needs to be confirmed no matter what.
I think it's a very sad day for the Senate because we have now destroyed 200 years of tradition of requiring 60 votes, which meaning that you have to have bipartisan approach to these issues and these appointments, and I think we're on a slippery slope.
This afternoon's events have now made it easier for future Senate majorities to confirm their Supreme Court nominees. And the ripples of today's Senate vote are being felt here in Indiana. Democrat U.S. Senator of Indiana, Joe Donnelly, has faced criticism for crossing party lines and voting to help Judge Neil Gorsuch's nomination to the Supreme Court. Outside his downtown Indianapolis office this week, a small protest was held by liberals to show their disapproval. Donnelly was one of 4 Democrats who supported the Republicans' motion to break the Democrats' filibuster.
A well-known program for incoming Ball State freshmen is coming to an end. NewsLink Indiana's Brianna Bobbitt reports why Freshman Connections is being disconnected.
After a decision from the Provost's office, the Freshman Connection program, which sponsored the Common Reader, will discontinue. Freshman Nathaniel Maurer, who was also a commuter, found that the program was beneficial in many ways.
But for me, when I came, it's definitely an intimidating place, not knowing what's happening on campus. And really, it helped a lot to get an understanding for things. Like, most people take it for granted, especially the commuters, which I'm a commuter. And we don't think of it as like, oh, well, we're going to be commuting, it's not going to really have any effect to us. But when you dive deeper into it, like, having that knowledge that I learned from the Freshman Connections of, like, who to go talk to if you need to go for finding a job or if you need a counselor. Like those kind of things really helped when I had it, even being a commuter. And so it's really beneficial to the whole campus community here.
Despite these new changes, Melinda Messinillo, who was the director of the program, has developed a positive outlook on the university's new approach.
Ultimately, my hope is that it helps, whatever emerges, that it helps students feel welcome to Ball State, that it is academically rigorous, that it expands their ideas about what it means to be a member of a university community.
Most of the program has discontinued, but the Commuter Ambassador Program and Living Learning Communities will still continue. In Muncie, Brianna Bobbitt, NewsLink, Indiana.
The funding that supported the program will be moved toward individual departmental programs to help further students' college experience.
Well, if there's one thing that freshmen need to prepare for, it's the weather here in Muncie.
Right, it was crazy weather today. Liam, what can you tell us?
Well, Kelsey, what we're dealing with today is a lot of wind, a lot of cold, and a lot of rain. So what we're feeling about right now is 43 degrees outside. That wind chill, though, coming from the northwest is making it feel more like around 34 degrees. As you could probably see a little bit on the camera from our live feed there, that there's a little sprinkling from the water because we were getting some of that side wind or side rain earlier on. So what's going to be going on for the rest of the evening? Well, we can expect it a little bit chillier night tonight. Possible flurries, but nothing to get too concerned about, so you can keep your shovel in your garage. And the big headline for the weekend is that we're expecting it to get a little bit warmer, but more on that on my full news weather update.
Oh, what's the latest in Syria attacks and who is responsible?
And find out why a plane never took off in Toronto after the break.
Oh! Checking your fantasy league?
Nah, just my 401k statement.
Nice. Where'd you find the money for that?
I just been saving a little every month.
I can't seem to save anything.
Well, what about all this? What about the money you're spending?
What money? It's gone before I can get my hands on it.
I got a pizza for a Todd.
Hey, can somebody spot me?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind.
It's 547.
Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
So I've come up with the family emergency plan.
Great. What is it?
It's difficult to talk about, so I'm not telling you.
How will we know what to do?
You won't.
I'm so glad I won't have to remember anything.
And me too. Thanks for this, sweetie.
Talk to your kids about who to call, where to meet, what to pack. Visit ready.gov/kids for tips and information.
Welcome back. Passengers set to travel from Toronto to Chicago experienced lengthy delays today after security breach. Officials found what they describe as a mock improvised explosive device in a passenger's suitcase at Pearson International Airport. All passengers and luggage were removed from the plane. Peel Regional Police in Ontario Province have taken over the investigation. They have not released any details or said whether charges are pending.
President Donald Trump has today spoken out against the use of chemical weapons in the Syrian conflict, suggesting that something should happen to Syrian leader Bashar al-Assad. According to a White House official, Trump is scheduled to meet his national security team today in Mar-a-Lago.
Do you think Assad should leave power, and will you discuss those serious...
I think what Assad did is terrible. I think what happened in Syria is one of the truly egregious crimes, and it shouldn't have happened, and it shouldn't be allowed to happen.
Do you think that Assad should leave power in Syria?
I think what happened in Syria is a disgrace to humanity, and he's there, and I guess he's running things, so something should happen.
Defense Secretary James Mattis is expected to lead the president through his options, including what the consequences might be of any military action which Trump has spoken of. Developing details emerge from Tuesday's attacks in Syria as world leaders and emergency personnel respond. Ben Waderman has more on from the Turkish-Syrian border.
It was the latest in a long series of horrors that is the war in Syria. For the lucky who survived, like 55-year-old Aisha Tilawi, now in a Turkish hospital, the memories return. There was an airstrike, she says. I saw yellow and blue. We felt dizzy and fainted. Ahmed Abderrahim still has trouble breathing or reconciling Tuesday's events. I don't know what happened to my children, he says. Turkish teams in full chemical suits are deployed in no man's land to wash down those coming to Turkey for treatment. While a Turkish mobile lab for nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons detection heads across the border. 13-year-old Mazen Yusuf, Aisha's grandson, is back on his feet in the hospital, but the trauma has seared his soul. I saw the explosion in front of my grandfather's house, he recalls. I ran to their house barefoot. I saw my grandfather sitting like this, suffocated. Then I became dizzy. How many of his relatives were killed? 19, he responds. The Syrian civil war is now into its 7th year. It's left hundreds of thousands of people dead. This was not the first chemical attack, and it probably won't be the last. All these years, diplomats and politicians have talked and talked, but people continue to die. I'm Ben Wiedemann, CNN, on the Turkish-Syrian border.
Turkey's health ministry reported in a statement today that autopsies confirmed that sarin gas was used in the attack.
Today marks the 100-year anniversary of the day the U.S. entered World War I. Dignitaries from more than 30 nations and thousands of onlookers gathered outside the National World War I Memorial to mark the centennial in Kansas City. The event included speeches and readings from the time America declared war on Germany.
It has been cloudy for days. Find out when the sun will make an appearance.
And find out what Ball State team is continuing yearly success when we return.
Can you help me with this? My new dad teaches me all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
He helps me with homework.
That would be 3.6795.
Thanks.
Yep.
He helps me with my decision making.
I wouldn't use this one. Ever.
And he's even teaching me how to drive.
And that's why cars have bumpers.
I'm learning so much.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of kids in foster care will take you just as you are.
They're coming. Places, everybody.
Light check. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Everything looks good on our end.
And lights.
Come alive with the forest. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Welcome back to NewsLink Canada. Well, we've had all the elements this week, Kelsey, haven't
That's
we?
right, Adam. Yeah, we have. Liam, what can you tell us?
Alrighty, so what we've got going on right now is there's some low pressure that's kind of accumulating up above Ohio right over here, and that's what's causing all this wind and all this cold that we're still feeling. So what that's going to mean for us tonight, though, is that we might get a little bit of this snow that's coming down up in this northern part of Ohio. But what that is going to mean is that we can expect it to be a little bit colder. Our almanac shows that today's high was 45 degrees. We had a low of 37, but that's still a little bit below the average right there, and nowhere near what our records were as well. So tonight what we've got a temperature of about 32 degrees, a little bit of rain, but with a chance of some flurries. Still, again, wouldn't get too excited about that because it's probably not going to stick for too long after the fact. However, what you can expect some of the wind to stick around as well. What that's going to do for your Friday morning on your way to class is that wind chill is going to stick around. It's going to make things feel a little bit colder. As you can see, it's going to be roughly around 29 degrees or so when the wind rolls through. So for the rest of the week, tonight you can see right there we got the little blip where we can expect some of the snow flurries for tonight. But after that, throughout tonight, it's going to start clearing up, and you can expect it to be pretty sunny throughout the rest of Friday. And going on throughout the rest of the week, it's going to be fairly good. The temperature is going to start rising a little bit some as well, but as you can see, a little bit of cloud cover, but for the most part, still relatively sunny. And then on Sunday, we can expect it to start warming up a lot more for this weekend. So tomorrow, what we've got is at least a temperature of about 52 degrees. It's going to be cloudy in the morning, but then it's going to start clearing up in the afternoon. And that wind isn't going to be going anywhere, though, so it's still going to be a little breezy out for us as well. So for our 7-day forecast, again, 52 degrees tomorrow morning, 62 on Saturday, where it's going to start clearing up, and then Sunday it's going to start warming up as well. And we can see that temperatures are going to be pretty much the same, but we're going to get about a cold front later on through the week, where it's going to dip a little bit back into the 60s. So,
thanks a lot for that, Ian.
Mm-hmm.
And tonight, the Indiana Pacers will tip off with Milwaukee Bucks. Do they have a chance to make the playoffs?
And what food vendors can you expect at this year's Taste of Muncie when we return?
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know, wherever you are.
Cook foods to the right temperature using a food thermometer. 3,000 Americans will die from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy all day long. Tap, 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 tap. Oh, and she even talks to it. She talks to that more than she talks to him. What's up, bro? Nice shirt. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
You wanted to be a teacher when you were little, but things changed. Teaching didn't seem that cool anymore, so you decided to become something else. But what would your 12-year-old self say? Amazing things are happening in teaching, so it's time to put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
This is NewsLink Indiana Sports, presented by The Haven.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm David Kahn with your sports news. The Ball State baseball team hasn't won a game since March 19 against the Dayton Flyers. Since then, they have lost 9 straight games to fall to 11-18 on the year and 0-6 in the Mid-American Conference. They will continue to try to end their losing streak in Kalamazoo, Michigan for a 3-game series against the Western Michigan Broncos starting tomorrow at 3 p.m. The softball team is currently winners of 6 games in a row and have a 23-17 overall record and a 7-1 MAC record. They will try to keep that streak alive in Athens, Ohio for a 3-game series against the Ohio University Bobcats. They will begin that series with a doubleheader Saturday, with Game 1 beginning at 1 p.m. From one red-hot team to another, Ball State women's tennis continues to tear through the Mid-American Conference. The Cardinals are back at home tomorrow looking to remain unbeaten in MAC play against Eastern Michigan. NewsLink Indiana's Peter Hurd has more on the recent success of the program.
As Ball State women's tennis prepares for its next opponent, Michael Jackson's Billie Jean blares from the speakers at the local YMCA. but perhaps DJ Khaled's All I Do Is Win would be more fitting, because, well, now 16-2 on the season, the Cardinals are currently riding an 11-match win streak.
Probably the key to our success is just how competitive we all are and how passionate we all are. I think if anyone comes and watches a match, like you can see on everyone's faces like how badly we all want to win.
You can almost see in them that it hurts them not only to lose if they lose, but it also hurts them because they feel like they're letting their teammates down. And that's pretty rare, and I think a lot of it just comes from them and wanting to have that kind of culture for themselves and expecting that from each other.
These Cardinals aren't a one-hit wonder either. For head coach Max Norris, 4 straight winning seasons to begin his tenure. That hasn't been done since the mid-90s in this program. He credits much of that success to the culture that's been established.
You can look around the league and you can even look around the landscape of college tennis, and a lot of teams are very similar in terms of talent, in terms of what the players were ranked in the juniors. And a lot of it is just the players buying into each other and buying into the attitude like if we compete hard, we can beat anybody if we believe we can.
A season ago, those banners behind us were blank. Last year's team changed that. This year's team is looking to add to them.
At the beginning of the year, we all kind of sat down and made team goals together, and one of them was win a match at the NCAA tournament. So I don't know if we'll make it there yet, but if we do, that's another goal of ours, is to win that first round and maybe win other rounds as well.
First things first, try to win the MAC for a second straight year. That pursuit will continue on Friday. In Muncie, Peter Hood, NewsLink, Indiana.
Thank you, Peter. Tomorrow's match against Eastern Michigan is set to begin at 1 p.m. The men's volleyball team will finish up the regular season with a pair of games at Worthen Arena tonight and Saturday night. The 13th ranked Cardinals are 17-8 overall and in 4th place in the Midwestern Intercollegiate Volleyball Association at 8-6. They will face the Lewis University Flyers tonight and the Loyola Chicago University Ramblers Saturday night on senior night. Both games will start at 7:30 p.m. And another team reaching the end of the regular season is the Indiana Pacers. With 4 games left and on the playoff bubble, the Pacers try to use the last week of the regular season to make a push for the postseason. The NBA playoffs begin next Saturday, and teams are trying to secure a spot in this year's postseason. The Indiana Pacers are one of those teams. At 38-40, Indiana is in 9th place in the Eastern Conference, just 1 spot behind the 8th and final seed in the East. And despite the roster changes they made this past offseason, it has been an inconsistent season for the Pacers, who have not lived up to a lot of people's expectations.
They're sitting right around 500, which is not good, but it's not bad either. And they're right on the playoff bubble, so it could be better, it could be worse. Probably a pretty mediocre year, which for Pacer fans isn't up to par, but it's not been the worst season.
And with the NBA regular season ending next Wednesday, the Pacers are fighting for a postseason spot. But even with how they have been playing this season, there is some optimism that they will get into the playoffs.
I think they'll get into the playoffs, but I don't think they'll make it past the first round. I don't think they're that. I think they're playoff good, but I don't think they're good enough to actually hold themselves out in the playoffs any longer than the first round.
The Pacers' last 4 games will be tonight in Indy against the Milwaukee Bucks at 7, at the Orlando Magic Saturday, at the Philadelphia 76ers next Monday, and will finish the regular season next Wednesday at home against the Atlanta Hawks. All 4 games can be seen on Fox Sports Indiana, with next Wednesday's Hawks game also being nationally televised on ESPN. So it's pretty much going to be an important stretch of games left for the Pacers trying to get into the playoffs, so it's going to be really important for them to try to win as many of those games as they can.
Awesome. Thanks, David.
Find out how the University Singers pitch their support to the community.
And we've had a rainy week, but will we have rain and low temperatures this weekend when NewsLink Indiana returns?
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to theshelterpetproject.org and meet if you are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener who loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo, is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to the shelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
There's one thing you can never have sex without.
It's not something you buy.
Or something you take.
In fact, there's only one way to get it.
It has to be given to you, freely.
It's consent.
Because sex without it isn't sex.
It's rape. Consent.
If you don't get it, you don't get it. It's on us to stop sexual assault.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Tatia Paradashvili with everything happening in the entertainment industry today. Indiana's official Goodwill ambassadors, Ball State University singers celebrate 53 fabulous years on Friday. This is the first performance connected to this huge event. Since 1964, the university singers have been recognized as one of America's top collegiate entertainment organizations. The event takes place in Emmons Auditorium. While reserved seat ticket prices is $15, students with ID will pay only $10. The second of two performances will start at 7:30 on this Saturday. Today, the singers have performed at Atrium due to announce about this celebration. Cornerstone Center for the Arts and Prime Trust Federal Credit Union are excited to announce the 31st annual Taste of Muncie. A Taste for the Times consists of cuisine from several of the finest restaurants and food vendors in the area. Attendees are invited to sample items and vote on the best of taste in various categories. The owner of Two Cats Cafe, Bassam Halvani, is very determined to participate for the third time in this annual event and win the title of the best.
This is the third time that I participated in Taste of Muncie. We won twice so far with my other restaurant, the Mass Cafe. I really look forward for winning again this Sunday.
Rachel Walker is super excited to announce the name of the dish which is going to represent this cafe at a Taste for the Times.
We're gonna create, it's called Curiosity, and it's a new dish that we're creating. It's a pasha type curry infusion dish. So we know that that's why our customers come here, is because they like the Mediterranean infusion foods. So we're gonna give people the taste of that. Tickets for a Taste of Muncie are available beginning of March. VIP tickets are $40 and student tickets are just $15 with Ball State ID cards. Moreover, children ages 5 and under are free. School of Music provides the harp ensemble concert under the direction of Elizabeth Richter, professor of harp. The event takes place at Sursa Performance Hall. Program includes works of Felix Mendelssohn, Fraser Lucana, Jack Pittman, and John Hummel, as well as English and Irish folk songs. The concert is free and open to the public. And that's all I've got for you guys in entertainment tonight. Back to you.
Thanks very much, Tatya. So Liam, can you give us another look at weather?
Yeah, of course. So what we're looking at for the rest of the week is that it's going to start warming up a little bit. Tomorrow we might have a little bit of snow flurry in the morning, but that's going to clear up by the end of the day. And throughout the weekend, it's going to start getting a little bit less cloudy. Sunday, it's going to get really warm, 74 degrees, and then it's going to start peaking a little bit more. But then we're going to get a cold front that's going to kind of knock us back down into the 60s. So it's typical Muncie weather as of late.
Thanks very much for that, Liam.
That's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to watch Monday night at 9 right here on Cardinal Vision or online at ballstatedaily.com.
And be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Have a good night.
watching NewsLink Indiana in high definition.